So we'll pick up with the assault phase of the coalition half of the 10-20 turn, which means we've completed movement and firefights. And we will see where that gets us here. We'll start with Sokolnitz. We'll only focus on the places where we're actually going to conduct some melees. We see the coalition has made some good progress here. Get the son of Austerlitz out of the way. And incursion into the north of Telnitz looks to be their best shot at actually, or excuse me, that's Sokolnitz, sorry, getting into the town. We see one battalion has climbed the wall of the pheasantry. It's going to go after those skirmishers there. And we see a couple of battalions ready to go after a French battalion over the Goldbach. So we'll get started and see how these things play out. Starting down here, we see one battalion in line and another battalion in column with 2 losses, so that is a total of 7 against 4 increments. We're going to hit this hex right here. So that's kind of a low odds assault, but we'll see if we can push the French back. They managed to all pass their checks, so we will calculate the melee odds and see what happens. So that is an 18, so that's a 9. And we have 14 for that battalion. And Dr. Off himself is leading this attack against General Freeland. So that's 3/5 of 12. That's a 1-to-1 attack. Dr. Ov has a +4 modifier, while Freon has, oh no, that's Legrand, excuse me, Freon is down the way there, has a -3, so we're at a +1. We roll the dice, +1 is a 52, no losses, but a morale check on the French, who survived quite nicely. So I had high hopes for that attack. Did not pull it off. Over here in the pheasantry, we can see the Poe skirmishers. The likelihood of surviving a melee against a grenadier battalion there is pretty small. There are 13 spread across 2 hexes, and they're in skirmish order, makes them pretty weak. Probably be about a 2.5 to 3-to-1 attack. So they're going to do what skirmishers do and jump back. Since they retreat more than half their movement allowance, we'll mark them and make sure that we don't let them move the next turn. Now our last assault here is actually these Cossacks going after that battalion of routed infantry. Cossacks can't go against formed good order infantry, but rout is a different story. So that is 6/8 of 20. routed. And Cossacks are 13. So we roll poorly. And we get 0-0, essentially the same outcome as the last melee, with a morale check on the French. And they are a morale of 25. We rolled a 36, which means they pass. So that was a pretty disappointing outcome there for the Cossacks. They thought they could rouse those infantrymen out of Sokolnitz. So that is it for the south. Let's move to the center. Here we have Langeron's second column, and we see a distinct lack of French soldiers. Basically, we have those guns. We have one battalion there. We have some guns here, some skirmishers. But otherwise, the French infantry has just melted away here. So this is a real chance for the coalition to make a big dent in the center and really disrupt any French plans. If they can pull off these couple of melees, might actually change the balance. So that is 6 increments, 6 and 4, so basically it's 1-to-1. So the French are in the trees, so they don't have to make a morale check, but the Russians do. And both of those battalions pass, so they drive their attacks home. So we have 6/7 of 17. And we have $15. And 5/6 of 14. So that gets us about a 1.5-to-1 attack. Gosh, terrible rolls yet again. No effect, which in this system is a retreat by both sides. That was a gift to the French. They get to pull back without any further damage from those Russian guns. Now we have another assault here on the skirmishers. No reason to stay there. We'll just retreat them 2 X's. Move that Russian battalion up. Consider themselves lucky to get away. Lastly, we have a Russian grenadier battalion led by Langeron himself against those guns. So they fail their morale check, which means they will fight in a disordered state. The grenadiers pass easily, It's obviously going to be a 5-to-1 attack, plus Langeron's modifier. That results in a defender rout, which eliminates the guns. So that is a fine outcome there. Moving back just a little bit on this front, we see, well, actually we can see a whole host of French routed battalions there. Only one is currently being pushed by those Cossacks. So essentially we have the exact same fight over here as we were trying to effect over by Sokolnitz. 5/8 of 19 routed. And the Cossacks are 13. And they roll a no effect. Yeesh, these Cossacks. No, they're not the best guys, but come on. Now we'll get to our last series of melees involving the Russian 3rd column here in the center. And really they have targeted 2 battalions. The 2nd of the 46th there, and the 2nd of the 57th. We see, frankly, the same kind of wavering French lines in Vendôme's division as we saw in St. Hilaire's. So Soult could be in some trouble here if the Russians are able to pull off these 2 assaults. So we have 2 battalions, 4 increments each, basically 1-to-1. We'll do our pre-melee morale checks on those 2 guys. Nice high numbers, both pass. French are in the trees, so they don't have to check. We have 6/7 of 18. And then we have, oops, wrong one. Oh, those nice grenadiers, 14. With 12 or 26, and they are led by unpronounceable name guy himself, which has a +2. So that's a 1.5-to-1 +2 on the dice. A 62 results in a defender disorder. That's a good attack. They will suffer a increment loss and retreat. And unpronounceable name guy will enter the hex. The last attack here are 2 very weak Russian battalions, but one is striking the French in the flank. And they are 5 increments to 4. It's 1-to-1, but the French have to make a morale check since they're out in the open. And they're struck in the flank, but they do manage to hold firm. The attackers will now do the same. So they both roll very high numbers, so they all pass. They're all going into the fight. So we've got 4/7 of 20 we have those grenadiers, 8, but in the flank they're doubled, so they're 16. And that is plus 2/3 of 7. So we have about a 1.5 to 1 attack there. Boy, oh boy. Rolling some high numbers here. 65. So that is a big hit on the French there. 2 battalions are going to run away. Now they retreat 1 hex with 1 loss. Now they're in those gun zones of control. So they retreat a 2nd hex, 2 losses. That brings them up to 5. And then the 3rd hex. So that was a very effective attack for the French. For the coalition against the French. So that will conclude our melee phase. Fairly successful here in the center. We will rally and rout and then recap and see where we stand.